Bob is one of the people I admire most in the entire world. He has the most remarkable combination of intellect and inner strength, and idealism and reality-based practical attitudes and problem solving that I have ever seen in anyone. And when I look at Bob, I see a man with a powerful progressive voice, fighting for civil rights and women's rights and LGBTQ rights. I see a man who's been an environmental activist for decades. I see a Harvard Business School graduate holding corporations accountable to more than just the bottom line. And I see a compassionate soul who cares about making people's lives better.
I want a governor who's going to fight for us. I want a governor, when our Constitution is under attack, our core values are being assaulted, to stand up for us, not just watch from the sidelines. I want Massachusetts to be that beacon of progressive values. I'm pumped up. I'm pumped up to be here for the next governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What I'm really here to do tonight is to remind us that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the United States of America exist not because of a predestined law of history, but because of the unbroken commitment of millions of people like us to protecting our principles. And those principles, which we must affirm over and over again, are fairness, equality, inclusion, and above all, liberty and justice for all. These principles are under attack by a president who swore to preserve, protect, and defend a Constitution that he has almost certainly never read. We need to remember that this is a time not only of danger, but of huge opportunity. And I'm here tonight to invite you to join this movement for change, to bring us together, to unleash our imaginations, to restore our collective will. And I invite you to do so by joining me on a great adventure as I seek to become your next governor of Massachusetts. Let's be honest about the economy. We know that more and more people are struggling. People are working harder and harder for longer hours and for less pay. Because the American dream right now is dying. And one cause is that big business and its allies have waged a continuous war against employees and workers and unions, and large corporations have withdrawn many of the benefits, like healthcare, like retirement, that built the middle class, and have put the interests of investors above those of employees and communities, in fact, or anything else. It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. We need to envision a better economy, and that vision is simple, that every person who works should be paid a living wage, that the economy should not be designed for the people on the top who have plenty, but to bring health and prosperity, life and liberty to all of us. And we must prepare and educate our young people and our displaced workers to occupy the jobs of the future, and stop turning them into indentured servants by loading them up with debt and making it impossible for them to compete against students from other countries whose education is free. You often hear, and this happens all the time, I read, well, Massachusetts is in the lead in the United States on the environment compared to the rest of the country. That's a very, very low bar. Right now, we're paying $18 billion a year to bring oil and gas into Massachusetts. That's $360 billion over 20 years. Imagine how far ahead we would be, how much more money every family and business in town would have if we had used that $360 billion for renewable energy instead of making oil and gas companies rich. We will bring our use of dangerous fossil fuel to an end and move us rapidly forward into the 21st century renewable energy economy. This is not science fiction. These technologies already exist. Solar power, onshore wind, offshore wind, hydroelectric, wave power, ground source heat pumps, geothermal, district heating, and hundreds of other technologies that have already been proven. We have a governor who's unwilling or unable to tell the truth, a governor who's unwilling or unable to lay out a vision of where we could go, and unwilling or unable to take bold action. Our politics have always been difficult and contentious and imperfect. The story of American democracy is actually a long and painful struggle to live up to our highest ideals, but we have made progress, slowly, fitfully, with sacrifice, but all of that progress is now under threat. It's under threat not only because we have a crazy president, but also the White House and the Congress and many of the branches of government we now see are under the open and blatant control of big corporations. But in 2018 and in 2020, we are going to take it back. Let us join together and through honesty and vision and bold action fulfill our legacy and our destiny as together we transform our Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Thank you.